Hey folks, Red Labor here. I'm doing another video today, and I'm doing one on the Socialist International. Anybody who knows me and knows my particular brand of socialist politics knows where I stand on the Socialist International. I view it as one of the most important political organizations in the world, to the point where I called it humankind's last best hope. The Socialist International. What about it? Well, when Karl Marx' First International collapsed in 1883, the Second International was refounded in 1889. And probably more reformist it was. The idea was to have a socialism that was where the average man and woman in the working class can relate to. So mass social democratic, labor, and socialist parties were being founded all around the world, known world at the time. And at that time, Europe, to a lesser extent, America, North American continent, and the socialist parties were, many of these socialist parties started to grow and gain political influence in parliaments. What kind of harmed the Socialist International was World War I, when you had basically Social Democrats in Germany fighting against French socialists and British labor rights, Social Democrats in Russia fighting against, socialists in the Austro-Hungarian Empire, that sort of thing. And because all these political parties were parliamentary parties. And what was strange about World War I is, on one hand, most of the major powers were aggressive, imperialistic powers, but at the same time, unlike World War II, it was not a simplistic war between good and evil. Like in World War II, it was the fight to end Nazism, which was the ultimate evil. You basically have parliamentary democracies fighting against each other. Austro-Hungarian Empire, Germany, Russia, all roughly constitutional monarchies with a parliamentary system. Same with Great Britain. And then when the United States got dragged into it, it represented a democracy. But they were all basically free societies fighting each other. And a lot of these socialist parties were majorly involved and supported their national governments at the time. Well, with the exception of America and Italy, my understanding is the Italian Socialist Party were kind of pacifistic. It took a pacifist stance, but no political party more profound than the Socialist Party of America stood up against the Great War in Europe, as it was called at the time. And I'll go into the history of that some time, where socialist leaders like Eugene Victor Debs and Victor Berger and other leaders of the SP of America, Socialist Party of America, were put in prison. But my point is that all these political parties in the Socialist International were, it actually collapsed that institution. And there were variations of the Socialist International after World War I. There was the Labor Socialist International that was set up for a while, and it collapsed again around World War II. It took several years after World War II, but in 1951, at the in Frankfurt, Germany, West Germany at the time, various democratic, socialist, social democratic, and labor parties around the world met, and they signed on to what was called the Frankfurt Declaration, which was basically urging socialist parties to run for political office and to govern, to deliver the goods in a reformist sort of way, but to deliver the goods to their people and in each country. It was still largely a European entity. although the Cooperative Commonwealth Federation in Canada, which became the New Democratic Party in '61, and the Socialist Party of America were members of the Socialist International at the time. During the 1970s and the 80s, there was a movement within the Socialist International to reach out to developing nations in Africa and in Latin America, and eventually various regions around the world, you had small democratic, social democratic, and labor parties and other movements of that sort joining the SI. And it's the largest political organization in the world today. And you want to know something that's sad in relation to America? The Socialist Party of America split three ways, and I talked about that before. But one of the factions that split off was the Democratic Socialist Organizing Committee, led by Michael Harrington, which would become Democratic Socialists of America in 1982. Michael Harrington set up a conference in Washington, D.C. to take place with the various Democratic, Socialist, Social Democratic, and Labor parties. And the news media in this country hardly mentioned any of this. It was like on the back pages. And what was so messed up about it was there were heads of states that were well known around the world. I mean, you'll see on the news all the time that you knew overseas, and these people were socialists, but it didn't matter, you know. Didn't matter that that Willy Brandt, the former Chancellor of West Germany, was there. It didn't matter that you had people like British Labour Party leaders there. Didn't matter that you had Shimon Peres, then of the Israeli Labour Party there, and all these other figures from around the world, attending this international conference. It didn't matter to the U.S. media, and they act like this was no big deal, but it is a big deal when you think about it. Virtually all of the free world, aside from the United States, really, and to a lesser extent Canada, has socialist parties, and social democratic and labor parties governing or were strongly in opposition to the center right. So, and what makes me basically put such a high emphasis on this organization is that the various political parties around the world deliver the goods: the socialized medicine, the strong labor movements, the welfare state, abolishing the death penalty, creating a good society where poverty is non-existent or nearly non-existent, or and you take something as basic as medical care for all. That much at least has made life better for people around the world. And so sad that all the good work, all these good works that these democratic socialists, these social democrats, and these labor folks have done for their people. And I would like to see a little bit of that in the United States. One day we could have socialized medicine and strong labor unions and see that majoritarian middle class come back in this country. And I actually think that the SI is the key to this. In the United States, we don't really have strong SI affiliates. For the longest time, the two SI affiliates were Social Democrats USA and Democratic Socialists of America. Neither of them were political parties. They work within the Democrats, but the Democratic Party is not with the Socialist International and do not want to be, even though former Prime Minister Tony Blair wanted Bill Clinton and the Democrats to join the SI by changing the name of the Socialist International to the Center-Left International or some crazy monstrosity like that. And if the Democratic Party is not that kind of political party. It is not the same as the British Labour Party. It's not the same as the French Socialist Party or the German Social Democrats, nor the New Democratic Party of Canada. In a way, the Democratic Party is another conservative political party. It's a more mild, it's a milder conservatism than that of the Republican Party, but it's not really center left, except it is center left by default because we only have two political parties in America. But the point I'm trying to make is that the Socialist International has done so much around the world in the name of human progress and just done so many wonderful things around the world that it's sad that we don't have a movement that could translate into what the SI has done on an individual basis in other states around the world. So anyway, that's my take on the Socialist International, and if you would like, please do comment, and we could discuss this some more. Take care, and you have a great day, folks.